Hi, greetings from onboard sailing vessel Wahine, and welcome to the Never Too Late Academy. And I want to share with you 10 tips to change the course of your life. These are 10 tips that changed the course of my life as I delved into each of these categories, and I hope they help you as well. So here we go. Okay, let's get started. Tip number 1, get a map. I realized many years ago that I like maps. And I reflected once, why do I like maps? And I decided there were 3 reasons. I like to know where I'm going. I like to know where I am. And I like to know how to get from where I am to where I want to go. The third reason is of particular importance to those who are restless and want to change course. But to understand the significance of the third, we need to appreciate the value of the first 2 reasons why we should like maps. So reason number 1, why we need maps. We need to know where we are going. You see, navigation requires a bearing, a destination. Sometimes that goal is obscured by giant obstacles and weather, yet still mysteriously we know that it's there and it lures us forward. And to change life's course, we must know where we want to go. We must have that compelling magnet drawing us forward. So an exercise to do is reach back deep into yourself and reawaken latent dreams. Imagine what you wanted to be when you were older, and let that goal and that dream live again. Not only do we need to know where we're going, but also we need to know where we are. Wanting to go someplace is not enough to get there. We need a starting point. I've met a lot of people who are dreamers. They're just chronically optimistic, always launching new ideas, but they never seem to advance. And that the reason for this is they've never gone to step 2. They've got the dream, but they've never faced the reality of where they are at now. You see, dreams are not reality. To see our dreams become real, we need a map, not just to identify our destination, but to recognize and identify our starting point. When I began my journey of personal transformation, one of my first, and I was in my 40s and we moved to Japan, I reached into my soul and my past, attempting to recapture that vision of myself I had as a youngster, that image of an adventurer, an activist, a writer, an advocate for the less fortunate. But when I looked in the mirror, I saw somebody different. Somebody overworked, sick almost all the time, and a slave to others and others' timetables. And when I recognized that, I realized I had to get up and move from where I was to where I wanted to go. So I really like the quote of Paul Valéry, the French poet and writer, who said, my paraphrase phrase, if you want to realize your dreams, you need to wake up and you need to see around you where you're at. So that leads us to the third, which is really core to realizing your dream and a tip to change the course of your life and why you need a map. Because once you can recognize where you want to go and there's that dream that pulls you ever forward and captures your imagination and your thoughts and your emotions, and you realize you looked in the mirror and said, this is where I'm at, I'm nowhere near there, then you can begin to explore possibilities of getting there. I'm not sure who is more boring. Optimists who never face the truth of how far they are from their goal, or pessimists who have given up because their dream seems too far from their present reality. I like to be people who, when looking at a map, clearly know where they want to go, honestly assess where they are, and have plotted a course or many courses to get from where they are to where they go. Now, pragmatism and innovation are needed at this point. And there's always more than one route available to us. And what seems to be a current vantage point could change if circumstances, world affairs, pandemics, change in career, loss of employment, if any of those change. And that may require us to retrace our steps, to go back to a place of security and confidence where we know how to move forward from that point. So you may have to pivot, come back, but that's not failure, because we learn from every vantage point. When we look at the horizon, we see new routes open up to us. One of my mentors, who was also a mentor for my son, is one of my best friends. And I remember my son, when he was 15, asking my friend for advice, because at that point in life, my friend was a venture capitalist. And my son was starting up a small business, my son Ryan, and with two other high school students. And he asked my friend's advice as to what kind of people he invests in, what kind of ideas. And this man says, I never invest in the idea. I invest in the person. And I don't invest into the person who has the idea. I invest in the person who knows how to make the idea a reality. The one with a plan and a track record of actually bringing that idea into existence. A management consultant in England told me there's no shortage of ideas. But the people who make successful entrepreneurs are people who know how to make a plan and follow that plan through, pivot, be innovative, pragmatic, but keep pressing forward. But we are getting ahead of ourselves. Let's accept that you are about to begin your journey of personal transformation. So take time to discover your deepest hidden dreams, and you won't have to wonder about it too much. They'll come when you're honest with yourself. And write down that dream as an action point of this tip. Write down what that goal is. And secondly, write a short description. This is where I'm at now. This is where I'm at career-wise, physically, relationship, and financially. Be honest. Be real. Then we can move on and begin to imagine and plot the courses forward. Okay, let's move on to tip number 2.